My name is Jack, and I have been a professional international DJ for over 15 years. And in this video, I'm going to show you the best places to mix out of a track early when DJing live that will still keep your mixes sounding smooth and natural to the audience. Let's get into it. In this video, I'm going to be using these 3 tracks. These are 3 tracks that I pretty much use in all of my DJ sets. They work really well when DJing live to a general audience in places such as bars, clubs, and parties. They're high energy, guaranteed to get people singing and dancing and keep that energy and momentum going on the dance floor. If you also want to know what other tracks that I use when I DJ live, I have created my all-time top 100 track list that you can access through my free email newsletter. All you got to do is head over to my website, offtherackjack.com. There'll be a link in the description to that as well. And sign up to my newsletter where I give you 30 beginner DJ tips in 30 days. And on one of them days, I give you my top 100 all-time track list. Let's drag the first track up on the left-hand side and show you where I'd mix out of this track early. So the first thing I do with all my tracks before I DJ with them live is I basically highlight where the choruses are in the track. So what I would do here is just listen through the track and listen to where the choruses are and highlight them with hot cues. Now, if you're not too sure where the choruses and verses are in a track, one little hack that you can use that I have used a few times is going to a website called genius.com. Type in the track and artist that you're looking for. So right here, I've got the track Don't Stop the Party by Pitbull. And if you scroll down, it highlights the different choruses and the verses and the different sections of a track. Then you can just go into your track, have a listen to it and highlight where these sections are. So right now we've got the chorus that repeats itself and it says, I said, yeah, are you all having a good time out there? And it ends with Don't Stop the Party. So this is the chorus here. So what we're going to do is listen through this track and just highlight them sections. What I like to do is go to the end of the chorus, set a hot cue, and then beat jump back 32 beats. That usually takes you to the start of the chorus, but that will also mean that my hot cues are consistent throughout the track. So let's have a listen here. Alright, so that point there is the end of the chorus and the start of the next verse. So what I'm going to do is just set a hot cue here. Then also go to beat jump. You can do this on your DJ controller or you can also do it in the DJ software and it will bring up these options here on the pads. What I'm going to do here is beat jump back to the left 32 beats. So you can click it here on the DJ software or press it on the DJ controller. Then go back to hot cue and just set a hot cue here. This will be my first chorus highlighted. So if you just wind this back and listen to this section of the track, you'll notice this is the chorus. Alright, if you're familiar with this track, which most people will be, you can hear this is the most energetic part of the track where everyone dances and sings along. Then it goes into the next verse. Alright, awesome. So now we just need to find the next chorus. I think it's around here. Alright, into the next verse. Let's wind that back, set a hot cue here, and you may have noticed as well, I'm setting a hot cue with a gap in the hot cue bank ready for the start of the chorus. So I like to keep my hot cues in order from left to right. So I'm going to go back to beat jump to the left 32 beats. That should take us to the start of the chorus and set another hot cue here just in that gap. Now all these hot cues should be in order as well in the hot cue bank. Let's listen to the start of this one. Alright, exactly the same as the other. And what I'm going to do is just highlight the next chorus. I think it's around here. Alright, into another verse and breakdown there. So this is going to be, just for this video, the last one I'm going to highlight. Set a hot cue, go to beat jump back 32 beats, set another hot cue, and we have our third chorus highlighted. So now if I just jump through these hot cues, you'll hear that they sound pretty much exactly the same. Hot cue C at the start of this chorus. Hot cue E. And hot cue G. Alright. Now for me personally, when I DJ, I like to color my choruses blue. So I'm just going to change all these to blue real quick. That's just a personal preference of mine. You can color them whatever color you want. Now these highlighted choruses are going to be my exit points. I find the best place to mix out of a track early is at the end of a chorus, just before the next verse starts. This is because then you get the highest energy part of the track, and the audience naturally expect the track to go into the next verse at the end of the chorus, and that's where the track changes, and that is also where we're going to insert our next track. So the audience expect to change, they expect it to go down in energy into the verse of the track, but what we're going to do is switch that verse out for the verse of the next track. So our sections are going to be in line, the audience are getting the highest energy part of the track, and the mix is going to sound smooth and natural to the audience. So what I'm going to do now is drag the next track up on the right hand side, which is Icona Pop, I Love It. Again, another classic banger that works in club environments, parties and bars. I'm going to quickly do the same thing on this track where I'm just going to highlight the end of the chorus, beat jump back 32 beats, which I think is around this position here. Let's have a listen. Alright, yeah, so that's the chorus, the main part of the track going into the next verse. Set hot cue, go to beat jump back 32 beats, go back to hot cue, set another hot cue there. This is going to be our first exit point and our first chorus highlighted. Then we'll go to the next chorus, I think is around this point. Yeah, the high energy part of the track. Into the next verse. Now this does take a little bit of practice. I'm used to these tracks, I've DJed them for many years. It might take a little bit longer for you to do it at home, but with a bit of practice, you'll be able to get this fast as well. So basically I'm just highlighting the end of the choruses. Color these blue. Now with this track on the right, these are going to be my early exit points, where the track goes from the chorus into the next verse. Alright, so that's good. We've highlighted the choruses and the exit points on these tracks. Now what I'm going to do is highlight the intros. So we'll start with the track on the left hand side. What I'm listening out for here is the intro of the track going into the first verse or chorus. Let's have a listen. Alright, now there is a bit of vocals and lyrics here, but we can still use that to mix with. Still the intro. Alright, into the main chorus. Now this track has like an awkward 8 beats before the chorus, or it can also be classed as the chorus. But what I'm going to do is wind this back. To me, this is the end of the intro. Now you might have noticed I've saved 2 hot cues in my hot cue bank at the start, and this is usually for my intro points. So I'm going to set a hot cue just here. Now this track's intro is 32 beats long, so if I beat jump back to the left 32 beats, it will take us back to the start of the track. I'm just going to set another hot cue here. So these green hot cues now are my intro points, and I can overlap them with the chorus of the other track. This is where the sections are going to overlap perfectly and create a smooth sounding mix. If this is all sounding a little bit complicated and hard to follow at the minute, stick with me. Once I show you the practical examples, it'll all become clear and make sense. So now I'm going to highlight the intro of the other track, which is I Love It. Now this one is only 16 beats long. So what I'm going to do is just have a listen. Alright, this one doesn't have any lyrics in it. This is the intro. Alright, and then it goes into the first verse. Let's wind that back. Now, we have 2 options here. The first one, we can set a hot cue just here. Now, if we beat jump back 32 beats, it's going to take us past the intro. This intro is 16 beats long. So what I'm going to do is go to beat jump back 16 beats on this. Takes us back to the start of the track, set a hot cue here. So now we have the intro highlighted with the green hot cues, but it's only 16 beats long. So one option we can do here is just click that first hot cue with a secondary click or right click, and we can add a comment. So we can just add here 16 beats. So then when I come to DJ this track, as well as seeing it on the waveform, I can also see in the notes here that it's only 16 beats long. And I would just have to make sure that times correctly with the chorus of the other track. So for example, let's say the track Don't Stop the Party is playing to the audience around the middle here, and we want to mix out of the track in the middle of the track and mix out early. I know this chorus is 32 beats long, and these 2 blue hot cues just highlight to me where the chorus are. But the intro on this next track is only 16 beats, not 32, so to make sure that this time's right, I would just wait 16 beats before I press play on the next track. And I'm going to show you how that mix sounds right now. Now you might notice these 2 tracks are at different BPMs, they're at different speeds. The track on the left is 127 beats per minute, and the track on the right is 126 beats per minute. There's multiple different ways that we can beat match these two tracks together, but to keep it simple, all I'm going to do is hit beat sync on both these tracks and they should snap in to the same BPM. If your beat grids are correct on the track, you should have no issues whatsoever with beat sync and it should work for you. But this is a video more about timing and mixing out of a track early, so I want to try and stick on that topic. Alright, so I'm going to press play on this track on the left. When it gets 16 beats after the first hot cue, I'm going to press play on the new track. I love it. Do a quick mix and you should see how these time right and sound smooth and natural to the audience. Let's go.
I say y'all having a good time out there.
Alright, so that is one way how you can get your timing right with them two tracks. But another way, and one way that I like to use instead of using two hot cues on the shorter tracks here, is a loop. So what I'm going to do now is just delete these two hot cues on the intro of the track I Love It, and instead here set a 16 beat loop. So I'm going to set this value here in the middle. This is the loop value to 16. Set that 16 beat loop, the track started then, and then I'm going to save this 16 beat loop in the hot cue bank. And what you should be able to see now is the loop is highlighting just the intro. And what I can do now is let that loop run twice whilst I'm mixing it and exit the loop when I'm ready to go into the main part of the track. This gives me a little bit longer to bring the track in and if I want to do some beat matching as well. And it gives me a little bit more control over the mix. I like to use this technique as it makes me feel less rushed, just having 16 beats to start the track, fade it in and do my EQ swaps. So a lot of the time I do prefer this method. Alright, so I'm going to do the same mix again, but this time I'll use the loop method.
I say y'all having a good time out there. Don't stop the party. Don't stop the party. I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone.
Alright, so hopefully you can see then I had a little bit longer to fade the track in and a little bit more control over the mix. Alright, what I'm going to do now is just give you one more quick example. Let's drag hotel room service over on the left hand side. Now looking directly at this waveform, it's very difficult to tell where the choruses and the verses are or where the main sections of the track are. This is because the waveforms are quite consistent throughout the track. Again, it's quite a popular track, so you can just have a listen through it and highlight the choruses yourself, or you can check that website that I've shown you, genius.com, and find out where the choruses are from there. But what I'm going to do now is just quickly highlight the choruses. Alright, so there you have it. I have highlighted the choruses on that track, and if I press the first hot cue in these pairs now, you should hear that they sound exactly the same. And then the second hot cues in the pairs are where it goes into the next verse at the end of the choruses, like this.
Freaky stuff, 2 in the O and 1 in the I. That after party in the hotel lobby, then we all to the room like room.
Now what I'm going to do is highlight the intro of this track. Again, you can use two hot cues or you can use a loop, but I know the intro of this track is 32 beats long. So I'm going to set a hot cue A right at the start of the track, go to the end of the intro. There we have it. There we have our intro points. So let's imagine the track on the right hand side, Icon of Pop, I Love It, is playing to the audience. We're going to mix the next track in, Hotel Room Service, and we're going to do it early at the start of the track. But it's still going to sound smooth and natural to the audience as we're overlapping these sections. Let's do it. Alright, so what I have here now is a live clip of me DJing on a boat party in Greece, and I'm going to show you that exact sequence of tracks that I've just shown you on the record box screen and how it's done performed live. Now this is an extreme version of mixing out of tracks early. You have to take in context here that I'm DJing the final part of a boat party. This boat party is over 4 hours long, and I'm just DJing the last 45 minutes here where we get everyone on the dance floor, and I just try and keep the energy as high as possible. So I'm going to be mixing out these tracks very fast, basically just leaving them for one chorus. But the reason why I'm showing you is I want you to take away the point of mixing at the end of a chorus and then going into the next track's verse. So So have a watch of how I do that here on this live clip. And hopefully now you can understand the methods that I'm using and the different techniques that I'm using live here on this boat party. Alright, so we're starting with Freed from Desire. And then you'll hear here how I go straight from the chorus into the next track. Alright, so that's the chorus. And now into Don't Stop the Party. Alright, this is the chorus. And I'm going to mix out of this into I Love It.
I got this feeling on the summer day when you were gone. I crashed my car into the bridge. I watched I let it burn. I threw your shit into a bag and pushed it down the stairs. I crashed my car into the bridge. I don't care. I love it.
Alright, you can see me start the next track now over this chorus. And you'll hear now, as it gets to the end of this chorus, I go into Hotel Room Service. Alright, so hopefully you can see there how you can use them techniques to mix out your tracks early, but still keep the mixes sounding smooth and natural to the audience by overlapping the different sections. Now, if you've enjoyed this video and you do want to learn how to DJ from start to finish, you can check out my DJ courses where I show you all the DJ techniques that I use when I DJ live. It's completely beginner friendly. You can find links to that in the description, or you can just head over to offtherackjack.com. Now, if you want to keep learning from me from YouTube, then check out this video here, and I'm sure this will help you out with your DJing as well. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you again in the future. Bye for now.